my dad, one of the very few things that we shared in common is that we loved racing. We would watch races and loved the excitement about it, and that's why this trip was such a big deal. So I didn't really grow up in church, and my dad was he was a pretty rough dude. In fact, he was in the mafia at one point in time in his life. He was in prison, in and out of, he was a constant con man, so didn't have that example for me growing up, for manhood or for my faith. And so when I went off to college, I kind of went down a dark path, which landed me in jail eventually. And I went to an event called Promise Keepers. A friend invited me to go. And that's where I gave my life to the Lord at age 20. And as audibly as God can speak to someone, I heard God calling me into ministry, and even specifically youth ministry in that moment. And as I got involved in youth ministry, I realized as God spoke to me that this is where I'm supposed to be, so that I can help kids who were like me growing up, who didn't have a faith example or example of a dad. And so I've been doing that for 21 years. Been serving as a youth pastor for 21 years, helping middle school and high school kids and college students escape some of the most chaotic years of their life with their faith. And grew up a big NASCAR fan and love racing. My dad, one of the very few things that we shared in common is that we loved racing. We would watch races, and me and my uncle, when I moved to Alabama, would get together and watch races after his wife, my aunt, passed away, and just carried that on into my years, and always loved the sport, loved the passion, loved the excitement about it, and that's why this trip was such a big deal. Every part of it, getting out in a car, putting the suit on, putting the helmet. I mean, honestly, I could have just put the suit and the helmet on, sat in the car, and it would have been worth the whole trip. But getting to drive around this track, getting to race guys in the go-karts today that are quite a grade above the commercial go-karts you get to ride at Panama City Beach. And then tomorrow, I don't even know how to put it into words, to get out on the Charlotte Motor Speedway and ride with Burton, one of my favorite drivers, and then actually get to drive around the track. So I'm very excited about that as well.